Hello everyone, in this video I want to talk about Nomads in Cyberpunk 2077. Well, I put a poll on my community page on my YouTube channel and millions of you voted. Unbelievable, 13 of you. Well, every vote counted, but as you can see here, 77% of you chose Nomad, right, compared to Street Kid or Corpo. Well, that led me think about, more about Nomad and whether should I play it in the first playthrough.
My childhood? Let's see. Racing my bobber for the first time through the hills? Oh, and first kiss in the middle of a synth cornfield.
Let's first of all watch the prologue and go over some of the interesting details. As you can see here, this is V. We've chosen to go and play as a nomad in the desert, and this is the prologue cutscene.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Makes you an outcast among outcasts.
Miss this, you know?
So here we actually hear the reason why V left the Badlands towards Night City. As I say, my family is in pieces. That's why I'm heading for Night City.
No, hunger for freedom. Not easy to come by in Night City. Corp's got their grubby claws and everything.
So although we don't have a lot of information about Nomads, we still have something to grab on, and this seems like very interesting life path to choose. First of all, as you can see in terms of kind of vibes, you can have a Mad Max vibes, right? You're probably gonna have an option to own kind of really cool car, maybe customize it. It feels kind of more intimate, like a place you can call home, and something kind of more relaxed to start the game until, of course, you get to Night City, and then you're gonna experience more intense things there. Here you can see the sheriff asking about her, where she's going, and you can see her helping getting her probably the first job outside, on the Birdlands outskirts towards Night City. Now you need to know that Nomads are kind of a clan, kind of a family with deep roots in a Nomad, and they value their family above anything. We also know that if you live as a nomad in Badlands, you have kind of a little experience about Night City, right? Because you haven't kind of been there. Let's say compared to Street Kid and Corpos, you're definitely gonna feel like an outsider. And this is something interesting because you're gonna go to Night City and it feels kind of a strange place. And I think in some way it's kind of interesting because this is the way you're actually gonna feel when you first gonna play the game. So again, feeling an outsider like you are actually when you start playing the game. Maybe in terms of role-playing game, this is a good choice to start and playing the game instead of just jumping into a role where the person itself has a lot of experience in everything around Night City, whether when you enter the game you don't actually know anything. Now if you do choose to go with Nomad, of course you're gonna have your own unique backstory. You're gonna have the main quest prologue. You're gonna interact probably especially to start with unique NPCs that maybe other people who chose other life won't be able to interact with, at least not at the start. And probably when they're gonna get to Badlands themselves, maybe they're gonna have an option to interact with them. But I think that's to make each backstory feel unique. I think the developer would make some things that are going to be unique to each life path, so players will be, of course, motivated to try out other life paths and see how those play. You're probably going to have your unique missions, dialogue lines, etc. So again, this of course should add to replayability. So you probably, after you finish the first playthrough, you want to try out other ones to see what they offer. Now, other websites mention that V is actually headed to Night City in order to find a job. But once you get to Night City, in order to climb the social ranks and to get money and stuff, you need to take some risky criminal missions. And if I say a sheriff, I know that you should be careful not to get caught, and you're gonna go probably against those who detects what happens in Night City, and this is probably the corpors, the richest dudes. They probably control the army, they probably dictate the law, they probably dictate everything. And this is, by the way, something interesting because some people probably want to be in part of the ones who control everything. I don't know if they control everything, but the one who has the money and the power, and these are the corporals. But even seeing the the little of the prologue of Nomads, it feels kind of more intimate to be part of a clan, and when you get your own, on your way to discover something new, it's like entering the game, like really something that is strange to what's happening in the game. I think this will be very interesting, and I think not just the design of how this Mad Maxi place looks. I think that people just like the idea of getting to the game as kind of a stranger and not as someone who is familiar, which of course most people are not familiar with the game. Everybody's going to play it for the first time. Now I'm going to quote something from Gamescom demo, the Nomad description. Roaming the Badlands, looting scrapyards, raiding fuel depots, life on the road isn't easy. But growing up in a Nomad clan has its perks: honesty, integrity, and a love of freedom. Qualities that a few in Night City possess, and no amount of money can buy. Now, when I read these lines, what I feel is that it would be probably very interesting to choose other life paths like the Street Kid or the Corpo, because you're probably going to be like in a very kind of a very demanding task, and you're going to feel kind of responsibility. And in a way, you probably want eventually to go to a place that gives you more freedom, a fresh air outside of the big city. So in some way, even the opposite can work well. That being said, well, this is a cyberpunk game, right? So I want to see lots of cyberpunk visuals. So some people will probably want to experience this like in the very first moment when they play the game. Others want to keep it in kind of, just a bit later, so start from the outside and go in kind of gradually. And I think this experience will be very interesting. You are outside and then you slowly go towards Night City, and eventually you find yourself and you say, wow, it's a big city. It's like traveling abroad, and just reaching a new place, and you say, wow, what is this one? Well, you'll decide which path you want to choose first, but I can definitely understand those of you who chose the Nomads rather than choosing Street Kid or Corpo. So as you can see, I think the choices are kind of mixed with people's own personality and maybe current state of mind. So, well, right now, when I thought about everything, I don't know. I think that I'm gonna go with maybe Nomad. I first thought I'm gonna go with Street Kid. Because it seems really cool to jump into the city and play the city from the get-go and just expose myself to this cyberpunky visuals from the start rather than being on the desert. But thinking about it in terms of if I know that I'm going to play the game maybe several times and go through all the life path, and considering the fact that I don't want things to be kind of a more straight away, very immediate, I think that Nomad might be a good choice. Eventually we're going to be Night City, right? It's just that I'm starting in the desert, and maybe the desert has some really cool things, benefits that we don't know of, and you're going to get some cool things, weapons, gear, cool NPCs, who knows? So although the desert, the Badlands doesn't look as fleshy, of course not, far from it, as Night City, maybe there are some really cool things that you can get if you decide to start as a Nomad in Badlands. So based on what you see here, would you still choose Nomad, or maybe you were convinced to start as a Nomad compared to Street Kid or Corpo? Maybe it's the better choice role-playing game-wise, or maybe it's not. What's your opinion? Waiting for your opinion in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. Cheers.